Great, thank you. Hi everyone. Thank you for giving up your lunch times today to come and listen to this talk. I'm Kay Lidgard. I'm a Catchment Coordinator, and my colleague is Clarrie Pike, who works in Catchment Planning. We both work in the Thames Area in the Environment Agency. And today we're going to be talking to you about programmes of measures, or PoMs, as you might have heard them referred to. We'll be explaining what they are, what they mean for catchment partnerships, and how you can get involved in their development. So programmes of measures form part of river basin management plans. So we'll start by outlining what river basin management plans are, what's in them, and how they are developed. We will explain why they're important and where we are in the timeline of updating the current river basin management plans. We'll then talk about what programmes of measures are and how they support delivery of river basin management plans. And we'll explain how partners can get involved in this piece of work. We'll then finish off by explaining what will happen beyond this initial engagement and consultation phase. So river basin management plans, I might refer to them as RBMPs for short. Hopefully that will be the only acronym. I'll try and avoid acronyms as much as possible. But yeah, RBMPs. So they provide the strategic direction for everybody working in water management. They form a key evidence base to inform planning and investment and set out the current state of the water environment in terms of the Water Framework Directive, or WFD. They set legally binding, locally relevant objectives for water bodies to meet, for example, good WFD status by 2027, and state the reasons why water bodies aren't meeting their objectives. These objectives are really important because they underpin water regulation, such as permitting and planning activities. So river basin management plans define the programme of measures. These are the actions needed to deliver the water body objectives and are designed to address the pressures and reasons for not achieving good status. They operate at a variety of scales, from water body through catchment scale and national as well. And it's important to remember that it's not just the Environment Agency delivering these plans. They rely on shared expertise, funding and collaboration across industry, government and partners. The infographic that I've got on the slide just summarises what I've just said. So yeah, just to briefly summarise that again, RBMP set out the current state of the water environment, the objectives that each water body has, the reasons why they're not achieving these objectives, and the programme of measures to help them achieve their objectives. The map that I've just brought up on screen here shows the Thames River Basin District outlined in green. This is split into management catchments, which are shown in blue on that map there. But the catchments that you're more familiar with are the operational catchments, and those are the local catchments that you'll be involved in through your catchment partnerships. In terms of how we work at the Environment Agency, the Thames Basin is split out into 3 Environment Agency areas. So Thames over to the west, where Clarrie and I work. Then we have Hertfordshire and North London over to the northeast, and Kent and South London over to the southeast. These are your local Environment Agency areas. River basin management plans cover all waters, including rivers, lakes, estuaries, coastal waters and groundwaters. There are 10 river basin management plan districts, wholly or partly in England, and each plan consists of a collection of documents which describe how waters are managed, along with information about the river basin district in data tables and maps. I'll now pass over to Clarrie, who will talk more about river basin management plans and introduce what the programme of measures are.
Okay, so river basin management plans run on a 6-year cycle. And as shown here, we have cycle 1 and 2 from 2009 to 2021. We don't use that as much anymore, but we do use it to show how water bodies have changed in status over time. We're currently in cycle 3, 2021 to 2027, and that has uses baseline data from 2019, and that informs the most recent RBMP that's published, so the 2021-22 RBMP. And the classifications from 2025, so last year, that will be published soon, are where we can understand the progress that has been made over that cycle. That 2025 classification data will also be used as the baseline for cycle 4, 2027, starting 2027. The end date for that cycle 4 is not yet confirmed, but we're assuming that it's the same 6-year cycle as has been in the past. As Kay has already mentioned, the EA are responsible for the reviewing and updating of RBMPs in England, but the whole of society can play a role in meeting these objectives, and that's why this engagement's really important. Next bit. Okay. So the previous slide talked about those management plan cycles, but the river basin management plans really are the mechanism for delivering WFD, Water Framework Directive, objectives at local level. So they influence where we get funding, where the regulation, investment priorities, and priorities really is the key bit. We're shaping where our priorities are for that next cycle, cycle 4, and that action that we want to put in place over the next 6 years. And we've said beyond there because what we achieve towards our objectives in that next cycle will inform that baseline for the future as well. Yeah, that's it. Next bit. Okay, so we're currently, updating the 2027 one. So hopefully you've got the message now. And we need that engagement with you. So it's about prioritizing those right projects in the right places. We want catchment partnerships to have an opportunity to give us views on all of the different required measures to meet our objectives, but we appreciate that there'll be ones that are much more relevant to you, that at the maybe more habitat restoration or more relevant to catchment partnership work as well. The exact details of how we're doing this engagement will be different in different areas and led by the catchment coordinators. But whatever we come up with will be that essential collaborative effort to meet our cycle 4 objectives. Yeah. Okay, next bit. So the steps and the consultations so far, just a reminder of what you might have already been involved in or what you're doing at the moment. So we started with the working together public consultation, which was about how partners want to shape our engagement, how we should be engaging with them. At the moment, we have the significant water management issues engagement, which is really wide ranging. It's about all your different views on the challenges that our waters face, chemicals, very wide ranging questions in that. And then the only one in this that's a less formal process is this local engagement. So that's really hoping it's a two-way conversation with the catchment coordinators, most likely led by them, to engage partners and develop projects, work out what these program measures should be to meet those objectives. And then after this more informal engagement, there will then be a public consultation on that draft RBMP, including the program of measures, and further opportunity to refine whatever we have by that point before the final document is published in December 2027. And then we'll continue. We expect that it will continue to have further engagement and working collaboratively in the next phase too. Next slide. So we've talked a lot about the RBMP stuff, but what actually is the program measures? So it's including the reasons for not achieving good, but also so how to address those reasons for not achieving good, but also protected areas as well, which I've not mentioned yet, and how we can help what work we need to do to make those meet their environmental objectives as well. A measure must target specific pressures and be focused on a particular element, but we're not expecting you to work out what projects will impact those elements alone. There'll be support from catchment coordinators to work out what the most appropriate RNAG that project might be addressing, what that link will be. If there are projects that are not linked to failing elements, we're still up for listening. We still like to know about them, but they won't be included in the program of measures because the focus of all of that is about the failing elements and how we can work on bringing them up to good. Yeah, there might be other projects that will still benefit the water body, though. We do appreciate that. So just some examples. A weir removal might be addressing a fish failure, or there might be a WINEP scheme addressing spill frequency for a bathing water protected area. So that's an example of a protected area one. Yep. Next slide, please, Kay. Okay, so hopefully talked a little bit about what they are, but this flow diagram should help to understand how we work out what measures might be. So we have so measures are in the box, in the dashy box. It's an action and a delivery mechanism where we know what it is. So it might be like WINEP, for instance. So we have, and I've got an example here. So in this hypothetical example, we might have a river with an objective of good status for phosphate, and the most recent classification has found it to be at poor status. We in the EA will have used evidence like monitoring data and phosphate modelling to establish what the RNAG, the reason for not achieving good, is, the grey box. And then in my hypothetical example, I've said we'll maybe have found that sewage treatment works are the main reason for not achieving good phosphate levels. So then moving into the green one, the required action might be to reduce a phosphate permit limit. So that's the action. And then the delivery mechanism might be WINEP. So that's a water industry example, but I've just briefly got another one. So we might have also found that a minor reason for not achieving good in that water body might be phosphate input from land use agriculture. So if we had high runoff rates from the fields, causing a high sediment input into the watercourse that had lots of dissolved phosphate in it. So then the appropriate measure in that case might be about increasing that riparian buffer strip, so the riverside vegetation, and slowing down that runoff that's entering the watercourse. And that kind of action might be something that's then delivered through catchment partnerships. So we've had a water industry example and a catchment partnership kind of example there. Next slide, please, Kay. So I gave an example of WINEP, but just in case you didn't know, and I should have done this before, so explained this before. So WINEP's our main delivery mechanism for the improvement of the water industry, focusing investment where we need it to meet our BMP objectives. Already in the program of measures are the projects that are associated with PR19. So that's things delivered between 2020 and 2025. And the PR24 WINEP measures, so that's 2025 to 2030, so future as well. Those are linked to reasons for not achieving good, where it's appropriate, or protected areas, or water bodies, depending on what the scheme actually is. Also, so we're engaging with catchment partnerships, and that's probably what a lot of you represent, but there is also going to be engagement directly with the water industry as part of this work, either nationally led or locally led too. Okay, next slide, please, Kay. Okay, so we talked about the WINEP bit and we talked about RNAGs, but the other part I mentioned was about protected areas. And one of those examples is SSIs and nature protected areas. So we also want measures that will be helping them to meet their objectives too. So yeah, something to think about when you're trying to work out what appropriate measures might be in your particular patch. If you have protected areas like this, other protected areas are bathing water protected areas, and then there are drinking water source protected areas as well. But there can be support from local area staff to try and work out those kind of ones with you. Yeah. Okay. Next slide, Kay, and I think it's you.
Yeah, to me. Thanks, Clarrie. So why should catchment partnerships get involved in programme of measures? Well, the aim of programme of measures is to provide transparency and clarity on what's causing the issues in the water environment and what actions are needed to address them. The Environment Agency have been reviewing the existing measures, and we are now asking for partners' insight to help refine these measures that we'll consult on and increase the chance of successful practical delivery. Your local knowledge is really important. It will help strengthen the measures and help provide a fuller picture of how we can improve our water bodies. We want to show the breadth of work that's needed and the scale of the gap in delivery mechanisms, which will ultimately help support the case for strong funding for the water environment. So how can partners get involved in this piece of work? Between now and August, you have the opportunity to help to co-design the measures before they're shared through the public consultation later in the year. We want to incorporate your local knowledge, data and evidence to make sure that the measures are practical, targeted and more likely to be delivered. This could be through refinement of the existing measures that we have or identification of new measures. As Clarrie's said, how we engage with you on this might look different across different catchment partnerships, and local catchment coordinators will be organising this in different ways to tailor it to local needs and make sure that it's as accessible and relevant as possible to your catchment. We will work with you to make sure that the measures proposed are in a format that we can handle and are supported by appropriate evidence. We'll be inviting partners to review and add measures over the next few months. However, if you don't have the opportunity to contribute during this time, don't worry, there'll still be a chance to provide feedback through the public consultation once it opens in December, and that consultation will be open for 6 months. When thinking about measures that you may want to input, there's just a few things to bear in mind. So programme of measures is a work in progress. Environment Agency teams are continuing to work on the measures whilst we engage in partners. So any measures that you may see over the next few months are continuing to be improved and worked on by the Environment Agency in the meantime. As Clarrie said, measures must be linked to a reason for not achieving good. However, any information that partners want to share about wider environmental work that's beneficial, but not linked to a failure is still very much welcome, as Clarrie said. It helps capture opportunities. It may be considered for other funding streams rather than being included in the programme of measures themselves. They're still a really important part of catchment planning and can be considered by the Environment Agency as additional or supporting information. Measures need to be GDPR compliant, so they shouldn't identify an individual person. And they don't have to have a funding or delivery mechanism in place. We want to capture all potential measures. So what's going to happen beyond the next few months? So the data that we'll have by August is not going to be the final set of measures, but it will provide a strong foundation for public consultation from December. Any information that's shared with us after August won't go into the draft programme of measures that we formally consult on, but we will take account of it as part of the final RBMP development, as we keep continuing to refine and strengthen the programme of measures over the next year and a half. From September this year, the Environment Agency will bring together the measures information that we have so far and that catchment partners have provided and upload it into data systems such as Catchment Data Explorer ahead of the public consultation. And the programme of measures will continue to be developed until publication of the final River Basin Management Plan in December 2027. So where can you find the River Basin Management Plans? The most recently updated River Basin Management Plans were published in December 2022 and cover the period up to the end of 2027, and they can be found in the first link on that slide. The data that informs the River Basin Management Plans can be found on the second link listed there. That's Catchment Data Explorer, and that sets out the water body status, reasons and objectives. The last link that I've put on there is for the Water Hub, and that's the Environment Agency's engagement website. That site brings together information about lots of different elements that the Environment Agency work on. So it's really useful to be aware of that website for lots of different topics, as well as River Basin Management Plans. It has links to the data that Environment Agency collect. But the link that I've put on there will take you directly to the River Basin Management Plan section, and that's where you can see the latest news and information on what's happening in the world of River Basin Management Plans. So in summary, the Environment Agency are seeking partners' involvement in developing the programme of measures at the water body scale. Programme of measures will set out what's required for a water body or protected area to achieve its environmental objectives through Water Framework Directive. This gives us a full picture of what improvement looks like and where the gaps in delivery may be, and will provide a strong foundation for the public consultation later in the year. By December, when we go out to consultation, we're not aiming to present a finished product, and the programme of measures will continue to improve over time. We want to keep refining and strengthening the measures throughout 2027 next year to support the updated RBMPs by December 2027. And then following the publication of the RBMPs, the programme of measures will keep being refined and will form part of the evidence base for catchment planning. Thank you for listening. I hope you found that useful, but we are happy to take any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much for the presentation. That was fantastic. The floor is open for any questions. Do raise your hand and I'll call you in order to ask your question. But for now, so far, it's a little quiet. So please dive in and don't forget to unmute. Thank you.
Hi, I think I'm first. David Harding from Thames Water. Thanks for that. Two questions. One is, will you be sharing a copy of the slides? Thank you.
Yes, we can.
Good, yes. Thank you. The other question was, urban and transport seems to come up quite a lot in the sort of RNAGs. And very often the sort of objectives from it are sort of not technically feasible, or, you know, requiring excessive costs or onerous burdens, whatever the terminology is. Is there any kind of, are there any initiatives or projects to sort of delve into that a bit further that you're aware of nationally? Or is it just in the too difficult pile?
No, there is definitely work happening on it, but I think at a more national scale. So KNI probably not. I don't know any more details other than there's definitely some work happening on runoff. I agree there are a lot of RNAGs that are focusing, that have urban and drainage as their problem. I haven't worked out what those kind of appropriate measures might be. Welcome input from partners as we go through this work if they have local scale runoff projects. I'm not sure what engagement is happening with National Highways on this work, but I imagine they are involved as well, but at national scale, because there are lots of different groups that are being consulted on this.
Yep. I'll do a bit of a Google search then. Thanks.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, thank you. Jack?
Yeah, afternoon. Thank you very much for that. My question is, for each water body, you've got a list of RNAGs, and then on the portal, it gives you sort of whether they're confirmed or probable. Are you looking at just the confirmed, probable, and or possible? How many are you looking at? And then second question, how does this relate to sort of the chemical side, which obviously all water bodies fail for? Do you just put one line next to that saying question mark, or is there sort of a plan there with regards to chemicals?
Sorry. Should have thought what my thoughts were before going. The confirmed, probable, suspected RNAG part. So in this work, we are finding specific specific measures for the confirmed RNAGs. If they are probable or suspected, they will have had an RNAG a measure even automatically given to them that's about making that RNAG more robust, getting it to that confirmed point with various different forms of evidence, and catchment partnerships might be able to help with that, but it depends on what the measure the RNAG even is about as to what data we need to get that to the confirmed point. Yeah, so the summary of that is we're only looking at confirmed ones. The other bit, chemicals, so we definitely do have measures to do with some chemicals, things like iron and tributylin, those kind of more local ones that do get different classifications. PBDE and PFOS will those ones that are failing across the board are being dealt with nationally. I'm not sure what the plan is for that bit. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. Anyone else?
Thank you very much. Anybody else for a question? Steph shared a link on the chat to say that highway runoff pollution should be identified on your catchment. Steph, did you want to expand on that a little bit, or all good? Okay, I think all good. Any more questions, anybody? Or would you like to share any thoughts or concerns? Please do, or forever hold your peace, at least for now. Zoe?
It was just to say, from my perspective, it's all very clear. Thank you for the presentation that sets it out really nicely. So I think we've, yeah, that's probably why you haven't got so many questions, because it's all been set out.
Great, thank you. If you do have any further questions, please do get in touch with your local catchment coordinators, and they should be able to help.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm just responding to Catherine. We will share the slides after the meeting, and the video will be uploaded onto the website in due course for those who want to come back and check in on the notes. A few thank yous and really usefuls coming through. Thank you very much. I think this is a good time perhaps for us to round up, but thank you so much, Clarrie. It's been really well received, thank goodness, and best of luck. Let us know if there's anything more we can do to help. Thank you, everyone, and yeah, see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.